It's time to close your eyes and float away on the music. Float away. And as you relax, you sense a mist beginning to envelop the room. A white, cleansing mist. At first hardly noticeable, but it slowly begins to build and intensify. And as it does, your surroundings begin to fade away into the mist, fade away. And just as your environment fades away, the mist diminishes your worldly concerns. Allow it to happen. The mist cloaks all your worries and concerns, and they fade into the background. All problems, worries, and concerns just fade away, fade away. And as you detach from day-to-day reality, you begin to breathe deeply and relax completely. A very deep breath in and hold as long as you comfortably can. And when you let the breath out, let it out through slightly parted lips. And when the breath is all the way out, contract your stomach muscles and push it even further out and further out. And then repeat the process. And breathe deeply all on your own for a few moments. And as you're breathing deeply and relaxing completely, sense an energy above you, an energy that is gently drawing you upward. Imagine this energy beginning to draw you upward, and it feels good to just let go and begin to ascend. Ascending, transcending levels of consciousness as you are drawn upward as your body relaxes all over in every way. Your body relaxes all over in every way. And as you ascend, you will each muscle of your body to relax, willing your body to relax as you're ascending, transcending, relaxing all over in every way, drawn upward into the light. A cascading light that pours over you and into you, permeating your body and mind with illumination, balancing you, centering you, balancing you, centering you. And now you open to potentials extending before you as the mist begins to dissipate and you find yourself standing in the middle of a dirt country road that meanders through the meadow and into the trees. The sun is shining, and a soft breeze rustles the meadow grass and the branches of nearby trees. And you decide to begin walking down the road, not a care in the world. You've never sensed such freedom. Feel the sun on your skin and be totally at one with the environment. And as the road curves into the trees, you enjoy the coolness of the shadows and the scent of foliage still damp with morning dew. It feels good to be here, and on some level this environment churns up old memories of being in similar trees in other times and other places, places that linger just on the edge of your memory. And you enjoy just walking with no place in particular to go. The path soon leads out of the trees and back into the sunlight, where it begins to descend down a gentle slope toward a fork in the road. As you get closer to the fork, you notice in the shadows beneath an ancient oak tree a white-haired man sitting upon a wooden bench. He's wearing a gray robe, and his hands are cupped upon a carved walking stick. You call out, "Hello!" He responds with a nod and a smile. As you approach, he pats the bench and says, "Come sit with me." As you sit, you look into his kindly eyes and notice the deeply etched lines on his ruddy face. "Where am I?" you ask. He smiles broadly and taps his chest. "In here," he says. "You're always in here, no matter where you are." You nod. Hard to argue with that. "I've been waiting for you," he says. "I don't understand," you reply. "We meet in your dreams. You requested this opportunity." "But why?" you ask. "Freedom," he replies matter-of-factly. "On a soul level, your quest is for freedom of the self. When you liberate yourself, you also transform the world, just a little." You nod, not wanting to interrupt. He continues, "You need to better understand who you are, what you are, and why you are. Know yourself as you are, not as you might perceive yourself to be, not as you might like to be, but as you are. It's necessary for growth. The goalless goal is to free yourself from all dogmas, all beliefs, even from your standard patterns of action." He shifts his walking stick from hand to hand and continues, "There are others in your life that you wish would change. For their own sake, you say, but it's really for yours, if for no other reason than your belief that you know best, and you want them to see the light. But it's your light, not theirs. Your desire is a belief, an attachment that does not serve your growth. Think about it." You realize the old man is right, and you would like to discuss this with him, but before you can speak, he says, "When you don't understand who you really are, your experiences reflect illusion." He watches you, waiting to see if his words are penetrating. "There are many attachments you need to explore. As an example, there are times you're greedy. Think of one. There are times you're possessive. Think of one. There are times you're envious. Think of one. There are times you get angry. Think of one. There are times you're jealous. Think of one. There are times you feel guilty. Think of one. There are times you're prejudicial. Think of one. There are times you fear commitment. Think of one. There are times you fear abandonment. Think of one. There are times you're obsessive. Think of one. Using the cane to steady himself, the old man stands up. By asking yourself such questions and answering honestly, you learn who you are. But how do I resolve these fearful attachments? You ask, not wanting him to leave. First, by recognizing them as they arise. Second, by refusing to allow them to influence your actions. But what else can I do? You ask as he turns to walk away. Make it a practice to analyze the intent and desire behind your words and deeds. Can I come with you? He shakes his head and points in the other direction. Someone else awaits you just over that hill. You watch as he slowly trods away, surprised that his feet toss up no plumes of dust. You call out, "Thank you." "In your dreams," he responds, raising his arm without turning around. You remain seated beneath the tree, flickers of sunlight dancing around you, and you think about his words. Make it a practice to analyze the motive, intent, and desire behind your words and deeds. In other words, no more disguised self-serving motives, no more manipulating circumstances and manipulating other people to serve yourself. You can't help but relate this to recent events. And as you contemplate the idea of better knowing yourself, you tune in to the beating of your heart and for a few moments become totally aware of your body. You explore any tension spots and simply will the tension away. and an awareness of your body leads to an exploration of your emotions. You often avoid examining your emotions, but now, evidently inspired by the wise man's presence, you decide to allow your predominant emotions to arise, to be examined in light of the spiritual growth you desire. And how do these emotions relate to your quest for growth and expanded spiritual awareness? And now, for just a few moments, you open to the most positive possible emotions. You explore your joy and your potential for greater joy. There is always a potential for greater and greater joy, no matter how hard it may be to realize this when life is difficult. And in the self-process, you've almost forgotten you were sitting upon a bench beneath a tree in a place you know not where. The wise man is out of sight, and you sense it's time to proceed in the other direction. The sun is higher in the sky, and as you walk the road, dust pluming with each step, you wonder again about the man you just talked to. Maybe he's a master. Maybe. The road curves up a hill and begins to descend in the direction of white buildings overlooking the sea. The structures are open with many columns and arches, their surface shimmering in the sunlight. You are reminded of Grecian architecture, or maybe Atlantean. As you reach the first arch, evidently an entrance to the compound, the dirt road becomes a gleaming white marble-like surface. People scurry about, dressed in white and pastel tunics. Those who notice you smile and nod, but do not stop to talk. So you continue down the street edged with beautiful flowers and statuary of what appear to be gods and goddesses. Everything is white, with the only bold colors being the flowers, which bloom in planters, pots, and edge all walkways. The road soon comes to an end at a circular courtyard surrounded by two-story structures. In the center of the courtyard is a huge bubbling fountain. Between the buildings, sidewalks lead off in different directions.
Welcome.
You hear a voice from above. Looking up, a woman waves from the second-story balcony. She's wearing a white tunic edged in gold.
I've been expecting you.
Her honey-colored hair reflects the sun.
Join me.
She points in the direction of an arched doorway at ground level. You ascend stairs that curve up to the balcony, where she awaits to welcome you with a warm hug. Putting your arms around her, you experience a pulsating exchange of energy, a gentle tingling that you've experienced before, but you can't recall when or where.
I'm Leora. We meet in your dreams.
I wish I could remember, you say. She smiles and beckons for you to sit beside her in the swing.
You're here now, and your quest is all that's important.
You observe the surroundings. Wind chimes flutter in one corner, while rainbow-hued flowers twirl in a dozen white pots hanging from the ceiling. In addition to the swing, several white rattan chairs sit in a semicircle. Freestanding candle holders are scattered artfully about. A tapestry depicting a couple making love adorns one wall. You meet Leora's eyes and are overcome by an inner and outer beauty, an ethereal, ageless quality that you couldn't possibly put into words. You say, "If I were to ask you where I am, would you tell me right here?" You touch your chest. She laughs.
You've been with Michael. He's one of the great master teachers. He only works with those he considers to have great promise.
You don't know how to respond, so you say, "Michael says I need to know who I am."
Do you agree?
You nod. It seems like an overwhelming task when I examine my attachments.
Growth is the result of becoming more aware. If you question yourself about what you think, say, and do, in time it becomes automatic, a natural part of who you are.
A white dove lands on the balcony railing, hesitates for a moment, then flutters into Leora's open palm. You observe, sensing a very real communication taking place between the woman and the bird. A moment later, the dove flies away.
Don't make more of this than needs to be.
She says, returning her attention to you.
Simply observe the movement of your mind. Learn to observe clearly in a way that allows you to know what is, what really is.
All right, you reply. I can do that. You swing slowly back and forth, back and forth. Leora looks past the gleaming buildings to the open sea. She says,
Your mind is a projector, always projecting your desires and fears, and all the projections are based upon your past experiences. The projector worries about what you're going to do. Should I do this, or do that, or should I do nothing at all? And the projector worries about what other people are going to do, or what fate has in store. But the projector isn't you. You're a loving soul who incarnated to resolve karma by learning to integrate these fearful projections.
What do you mean, integrate? You ask. Leora meets your eyes.
When you learn, truly learn, that your attachments are just projections, and when you stop reacting, they will no longer affect you. They'll be integrated on a soul level.
You nod and consider her words for a few moments before saying, "And in so doing, I resolve a little of my karma. Is that right?"
Yes, but let's explore another side of desire and fear. I'd like you to think about something you desire. Go ahead. Think about something you really desire. All right. Now I'd like you to explore the fear associated with that desire. Because what you desire, you also fear on some level, if only in regard to the permanence of the situation.
You take a few moments to relate this concept to other areas of your life. Leora places her hand upon your knee and says,
It's not the unknown you fear. It's the loss of what is known. In other words, it's your attachment to the known.
You shake your head and say, "It's overwhelming. Life is nothing but attachments. Should I be developing detachment?"
Detachment as the result of awareness will serve you, but never establish detachment as a goal to be attained. To do so is simply another form of attachment.
You raise your hands in a futile gesture, but before you can speak, Leora reminds you,
Once you truly learn that all fearful attachments are nothing but mental projections, you'll stop reacting, which is the ultimate expression of detachment.
"Will I remember this when I return?" you ask.
Return from where?
"From wherever I am," you laugh. "I'm not asking where I am." Smiling broadly, Leora says,
You are where you always are. Am I as perplexing as Brother Michael?
"Thank you for helping me understand what I need to do."
The Lightkeeper awaits you.
Leora leans forward and points to a lighthouse about a mile up the rugged coast. "He too knows I'm coming?"
She knows you're coming.
You hug again, say your goodbyes, and make your way out of the compound to a path snaking along the edge of cliffs that drop hundreds of feet to the rocks below. Waves gather momentum as they approach the shore, crashing with a hostile fury upon the outcroppings, tossing salt spray high in the air. Seagulls circle, calling out as if to challenge the forces of nature that bequeath them food in the wake of the outgoing tide. Ahead is a lighthouse, white against a fiery sky. A guiding sentinel, you decide, symbolic of the masters you've already met this day. And as you get closer, you notice that at the base of the structure, the entrance door is wide open. You approach slowly, calling out, "Is anyone here?" No response. You take a single step through the doorway. "Is anyone here?"
Yes, come up.
Come up. Sure, you think, observing the narrow, spiraling stairway. You can do it, you tell yourself, but you're hesitant to begin.
It's safe, I assure you.
Comes the voice from above.
Haven't lost anyone yet.
Grasping the railing, you start to ascend, one carefully placed foot at a time. Up, 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 higher and higher. You reach a landing, take a deep breath, then start the ascension again.
Good.
The woman calls down.
It's easy when you get the hang of it. Just like everything else in life, don't you know?
Her words conjure memories of situations that were arduous the first few times, but later became easy and natural for you. Finally, after 3 landings, you reach the top, and a plump little woman welcomes you with open arms. You accept her hug and return it with a sigh of relief. She's dressed in loose-fitting pants and an oversized shirt, outgoing and friendly, the sort of person you like the moment you meet.
I'm Samara, and I know you don't have much time, so come, sit by the window.
You sit in a wooden rocking chair, obviously Samara's chair. Your hostess sits in a padded window seat. The huge beacon light takes up most of the space in this tiny circular room. You look out at the white-capped sea. The sun is nearing the western horizon. and over your shoulder in the distance is Leora's compound, now cast in an iridescent pink hue. "I was told you knew I was coming," you say. Smiling, she says,
Of course. You are my special charge. I know everything about you at all times. So do Leora and Michael. Our task is to assist you to accomplish as much as you can in the time that you have.
"So you're masters,
What's in a name?
and this is the spirit world."
If you need labels, that will do. All realities exist within a vibrational frequency. One is not physical and one non-physical. They all exist simultaneously, each with a different density. In your waking life, you're exploring one of many Earth frequencies, playing a game that erases all but intuitive memories, thus allowing you to test your growth potential. When you're tired of the game, you'll move on to another.
You nod, trying to sort it all out. Samara says,
It's labels I wanted to talk to you about. When you awaken, work at refraining from naming. My, that rhymes, doesn't it? Refraining from naming. Anyway, when an emotion or a situation arises, if you refuse to label it, you'll alter your relationship to the object of your attention. Upon meeting someone of another race, don't label them with a racial name or your mental stereotype. Without the label, you perceive them with a deeper understanding. The same would be true in meeting anyone. Avoid labels such as an old, handicapped, teenager, neurotic, ugly, beautiful, ambitious, lazy.
Her eyes twinkle and she smiles, while adding,
And labels such as small and plump. You get the idea.
You flush with embarrassment, realizing Samara was reading your thoughts, and knowing too how often you label people, places, and things.
Also, refuse to label your feelings because it engages past programming, making it impossible for your mind to be an objective observer. If you can't separate who you really are from your feelings, they will reflect illusion rather than what is.
You smile and say, "I feel like I've come full circle. Earlier, Michael told me, when you don't understand who you really are, your experiences reflect illusion. Now you say, if I can't separate who I really am from my feelings, they will reflect illusion rather than what is." Smiling, Samara leans back in the window seat and raises 3 fingers.
3 steps. 1. Learn who you are by being an objective observer. Also free yourself from dogmas and beliefs. 2. Integrate your fearful attachments by realizing they are nothing but mental projections you don't have to respond to. And 3. Stop labeling so you can accurately perceive what is.
Nothing to it, you say, and laugh, at the same time shaking your head.
To change, you must first decide what changes to make. We'll discuss your progress in your dreams, but now it's time for you to return. You don't even need to descend the stairway. Just breathe deeply and listen to the voice that guided you here.
You hear an audible click and assume that Samara has snapped on a tape player. Then words fill the circular room and you relax into the process. In just a moment, you're going to awaken remembering everything you've just experienced in this peaceful contact with Masters. You'll awaken with your head clear, thinking and acting with calm self-assurance, and feeling glad to be alive and at peace with yourself, the world, and everyone in it. So come on up now. On the count of 5, you will open your eyes and be wide awake. Number 1, coming on up and you experience an expanding spiritual light within. Number 2, coming on up and ready to learn who you really are. Number 3, coming on up and inspired to integrate your fearful attachments. Number 4, coming on up and prepared to stop labeling so you can accurately perceive what is. And number 5, wide awake, awakening, feeling balanced and harmonious. Number 5, wide awake,